The free Stellar Blade petition is causing Kotaku to melt down, run damage control, and attempt to smear grummz all in one fell swoop. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and we gotta get into this. The Stellar Blade censorship circus explained, patched sexy outfits have become one of the saddest rallying cries in gaming. Oh, look at this. Look at them trying to alter the narrative, change it from what we were actually referring to, try and obfuscate what gamers actually care about and are actually clamoring about, all while not being written by Alyssa Mercante. When I read through this article, I thought this had to be an Alyssa article. No. Ethan Gack. Alright, well, it's good to know that Kotaku is consistent across the board with their absolute trash writers. We're gonna get into this article. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and there really isn't bigger news right now than the free Stellar Blade petition, which I had some pretty mixed feelings on, but after reading through this and being on my live stream yesterday, yeah, I think I've pretty much come to the conclusion. I believe what I think is the correct belief to have. Let's go through here, see what they got to say. Stellar Blade is a PlayStation 5 sci-fi action exclusive about fighting monsters and saving humanity in a stylish post-apocalyptic world. So why are thousands of self-identified fans signing a petition to free Stellar Blade? You know, I love how you're talking about self-identifying. Wouldn't that mean they're actually fans? Because according to the individuals at Kotaku, I mean, these are the people that believe you can self-identify as being a woman when you're actually born a man, so, and they have to call you a woman. So if you're self-identifying as a fan, wouldn't that mean, hey, you are in fact a fan, whatever you self-identify as is what you truly are? So you could have just said fans here and it would have worked just as well. Free Stellar Blade from censorship. The answer is surprisingly complicated and kind of sad. We're gonna get into why it's kind of sad, because I'm sure you guys have seen the petition to free Stellar Blade, and there's been some video testimonials from, let's just say less than charismatic nerds, unlike your boy here, who don't quite know how to articulate themselves in a fashion that's respectable. But let's be real, this is a kind of a difficult thing to do, just get in front of a camera, start talking. Not everyone can do it. If that was the case, everyone would have YouTube channels, they'd all be successes, and when everyone is a success, nothing is. It would kind of be like, you know, winning the lottery. If everybody, you know, wins all the Powerball numbers, you'd get like 33 cents. So it kind of makes sense that you see these individuals who don't have any sort of platform just recording these phone videos. And yeah, they come off as desperate, sad, charisma-less, kind of autistic basement-dwelling nerds. Well, that's also the target demographic. Either way, we'll get to that in a bit. Former Blizzard developer turned online angry game grifter Mark Kern recently posed a challenge, posted a change.org petition calling for altered content from a previous version of Stellar Blade to be restored by developer Shift Up. The content has been censored from its original trailer version posted by Sony. The petition reads, "We as gamers want this content back. We relied on it. We made the game the #1 pre-order worldwide because of it, and this is the true game we want." And that is 100% accurate. The game was the #1 pre-order game worldwide. I would not be surprised if it ends up being the best-selling game of the year, except with these refunds. I'm actually kind of curious. So far, we don't have any numerical data on how the refund prospects are affecting the sales of Stellar Blade. And if enough angry gamers are saying, hey, give us our money back, which, I mean, I posted a poll in my live stream yesterday, and it was like 52% don't ask for a refund, 48% asked for a refund. The chat was very divided. So if we extrapolate that out, and let's say we apply this to actual real world numbers, this game could be getting hit hard. We will need to see if Shift Up comes out and says, hey, this is what's going on, here's our thoughts on the whole matter, and to see how it affects the sales of it. Oddly, the petition never explicitly says what the alleged censorship is. Sexy outfits that were nerfed and pre-release update. Again, it was not a pre-release update. It was absolutely a post-release update. Stellar Blade's main protagonist, Eve, has big boobs and a bigger butt, but some of the most revealing costumes receive minor alterations from what's on the unpatched disc version of the game. Graffiti creating an unintentional N-word reference was also removed. Okay, you can't reference something unintentionally. It's not a reference. If I say, if let's say I had never ever heard of the song "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel, one of the greatest songs of all time. Let's say I had never heard that song, didn't know it existed, and I said the words "We didn't start the fire." I wouldn't be referencing the song because I have no frame of reference. So no, the N-word thing was not an unintentional reference because it's not a reference to begin with. A reference has to be done with intent. Otherwise, someone else is attributing a reference where there never actually was one. So we got a tweet from Scratchpoint here. Unfortunate but not surprising to see Stellar Blade censored despite promises the game would be uncensored in all regions. And that is why these individuals are rightfully upset. Shift Up promised an uncensored game. Literally days before launch, they made a big deal out of the fact that it was going to release uncensored in all countries where it was released. and then it gets a day one censorship patch. Let's say this had nothing to do with the bouncing titties and the dresses and the outfits. Let's say that only things that were, censored were dialogue and gore. People would still be freaking out about this because the company said no censorship. If they had kept all the sexiness 100% intact, which they kept like 98% of it intact, but the fact is they made a promise to their potential customers or the people who have already purchased the product via pre-order saying this is the product you will get, and then snatch that away from them on day one. Yes! Yeah, that is absolutely false advertising. The main accusations of censorship revolve around things like a bunny swimsuit where a layer of lace was added to cover up some of Eve's cleavage, and cut the fabric was changed to cover up more of her hips. It's not about inches of fabric, it's about fighting the double standard and getting Stellar Blade customers what was advertised, Kern tweeted over the weekend, which is 100% accurate to this case. I said this on my live stream yesterday. I bought this game from my buddy Atreus, and within 24 hours, homie was talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and playing that on Twitter instead. I was so fucking upset. In a launch day interview, Stellar Blade director Kim Hyung-tae was asked point blank about the censorship issue and that the development team would be considered rolling that part of the update back. We are aware of this issue and we would like to address that the final product we intended was outfits for a certain age group. I do not know my answer could make everyone happy. I do know my answer could make everyone happy, and we can't promise you anything right now, but we are discussing the issue internally. Bullshit. I appreciate that you're trying to save face. I appreciate that you're trying to look into it, make everyone happy. This, that, and the other. Yada, yada, corporate business speak. But no, you were not, these are not the outfits and the censorships that was intended for a certain age group. Because if that was the case, A, you would have already had it correct in the demo, or B, you wouldn't have launched the disc version as it was, the true uncensored version of the game. So, you don't gotta lie. You already told us the game was gonna come out day one, it was gonna be uncensored. And then that didn't happen. You don't have to double down on it because we can very easily take a look at what was on the disc and what you had promised us, leading up to the game's release, and know that that completely conflicts with what you're stating here. Just either step out of the conversation while you're figuring out how to handle this in the PR stuff on the back end, or be honest. But don't try and lie about it, because at that point it makes it very difficult to defend you, because a lot of folks are throwing all the shade at Sony. Understandably so, because Sony are bastards. But when you come out and do things like this, I'm sorry, that takes some heat off Sony and throws it right back on you. The fact that changes were apparently a voluntary creative choice doesn't appear to have stopped the Stellar Blade truthers from moving. Look at them using truthers as if that's some sort of derogatory term in 2024. Like that word actually still has any sort of meaning. Shift Up made some bad marketing choices and either shipped outfits like they liked better or silently censored by Sony. Kern wrote an update to the petition trying to rationalize the free Stellar Blade fight in the face of the director's own. So he's supposed to say denials here, denals, and Mark Kern is not trying to rationalize anything. The rationale is very much already there for anybody that is being 100% honest about this argument. For anybody that wants to come in and have a good faith conversation about this, where we were talking about censorship, where we were talking about promises that a company made, there's 100% normal rationale. So you say they're trying to rationalize this, the grummz that Mark Kern is trying to rationalize this as if that's what he needs to do to keep the argument alive. This debate would be going on with or without grummz. He doesn't need to rationalize dick to understand how a certain, again, Sweet Baby Inc. and the new Gamergate, because this is a Gamergate issue. We likely wouldn't be having all this sort of hubbub about it, all this conversation, if it weren't for the fact that Sweet Baby Inc. Ignited Gamergate 2 several months ago. But let's be real, this game was going to sell well regardless of any of that nonsense. You don't need to tie it into an article about Stellar Blade. It's really not related, minus video games have been in the news for the past 2 months nonstop, and that's really about it. To understand how a certain contingent of prospective Stellar Blade fans decide to make her outfits their cause of du jour, it's not about her outfits. Again, look at them misrepresenting, absolutely intentionally misrepresenting the argument here. It is not about the outfits. If it was only the gore, if it was only about dialogue, we would still be having this discussion. And the fact that they either are too ignorant to acknowledge that that's our point, or are intentionally misrepresenting it, and this is Kotaku, so I 100% believe it is the latter until I've got further confirmation otherwise, shows what side of this they're on. They are not on the side of the gamers. They are only on the side that's going to cause more division, cause more conflict, and don't actually care about the medium at large. It's important to understand the low-key Gamergate 2.0 revival Kern and others have been attempting in recent months. No one was attempting a Gamergate 2.0. I was around for Gamergate 1.0, Gamergate OG, the first, the original. We weren't happy about Gamergate then either. It was something that organically happened, and then this is a sequel 10 years later that once again was organic. There was no attempt to, revive Gamergate. Reviving Gamergate is technically a net negative unless our side wins it, which don't get me wrong. To be fair, I think we've been making excellent strides. We've been doing a lot of good stuff lately that we really weren't able to do the first time around. So maybe it is necessary, and I'm glad it's happening. But if we end up on the losing side of Gamergate 2.0, just like we lost Gamergate 1.0, then it's a net negative. Nobody wants this because nobody wants to lose. So just quit trying to make up this weird narrative that we want to see Gamergate. No, we want to see gaming go back to what it was, that we all grew up with prior to the original Gamergate. In March, narrative consulting firm Sweet Baby, and we're not even going to go over any of that because who cares? We all know what was going on with the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. The aggressive enthusiasm for Stellar Blade seemingly had less to do with anything its creators had said, and the fact that its anime-influenced world building and hypersexualized hero happened to align more with these players' personal preferences. No, they actually happen to align with more of worldwide personal preferences, because every single study that you could ever look at will tell you that men and women both prefer attractive looking male and female characters in their media, whether it be movies, anime, TV shows, video games, what have you be. It has nothing to do with these players' personal preferences. It has to do with the traditional human personal preferences that are still prevalent in at least 75% of humans the world over. Putting the lie to the idea that any of this was primarily about creative empowerment, the same anti-woke crusaders tried to launch a boycott of the Metrovania Tales of Kinzara Zao. Nobody tried to boycott Tales of Kinzara Zao. All we did was say this game was done by Sweet Baby Inc. or has ties to Sweet Baby Inc. We were boycotting all Sweet Baby Inc. games. Just know this was on the list. And the game fucking flopped. The game was a disaster. It peaked with its player count on day one, and it peaked with like 264 players or something like that. Some absurdly small number. Everybody talked about it for 10 minutes, then moved on because it was a nothing burger of a game. What made the Free Stellar Blade petition turn into the absurdity to cringe are the personal videos of some of its signatories have been uploading in support of it. Inaudible because it appeals to the male gaze. They really got to stop using that. Sony, you made to make shift up cook, said one player. Sony, you made to make shift up cook, said one player. That's a weird sentence. Please shift up. Please release the uncensored Stellar Blade, said another. From a third, Abby from The Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Baldur's Gate, full frontal nudity, full jiggle physics, full hardcore sex scenes, not an ounce of it censored. Stellar Blade, 17 outfits censored. And you know what? It's amazing. These are the individuals that they're making fun of. Let's play one of these right here.
Hello, my name is Michael Lyon, and I bought a PS5 because I wanted to play Stellar Blade. I was promised that this game would be no censorship, unedited, unraw, just a great, amazing, even a Game of the Year contender. I think that it's not fair and okay that Sony has decided to censor the game, especially right at the release date. I think that's false advertising. I think that's not fair to the developer shift up.
Okay, that seemed pretty fair. Sounds like the dude wanted to play a particular game, was a paying customer, did not receive the product that he was paying for, and wants some sort of something to fix. Wants that fixed. All right, so let's take a look. What else we got? Hey, let's look at this individual. He seems nice and well adjusted.
Please shift up, please uncensored Stellar Blade. Games would be fun that way. Oh boy.
Now, was that awkward? Was that desperate? Was that a little bit sad? Abso-goddamn-lutely. It certainly was. But you know what? These individuals are doing something that a lot of folks don't have the balls to do, which is put their face, their name, their thoughts out there to a camera to say, hey, this is something I care about, this is something I'm passionate about, and in doing so, I'm going to go ahead and just bear it all to put my thoughts and opinions out there. I might get roasted for it. I'm apparently going to have Kotaku trash me for it. These are the same individuals. Kotaku are making fun of these individuals who, let's be real, are incredibly socially awkward. A lot of them probably got a case of the tism. I mean, let's look at this dude right here. Tell me he doesn't have a case of the tisms.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey, and I think this petition needs to come through to have a
Yeah, okay, we're gonna stop that right there. Like, there's only so much that I can take. But the fact of the matter is, this dude got a touch of something. Touch of the tism, touch of the downs, whatever it may be. The fact of the matter is, that Kotaku is out here basically being ableist towards these autistic and or socially inept individuals, which is really ironic and hilarious because you all know that Kotaku writers, as well as the people that follow and take Kotaku seriously, are the same ones that put their own mental disabilities in their bios and are proud of it. But now we've got them out here talking about how cringe it is, how sad it is. Like, it's actually kind of amazing when you look at it like that. You know, I saw T-Gap Steve, my homie T-Gap Steve said it best. He said, for these dudes like this, for these dudes out here who have got this sort of, you know, the charisma of a goat, for example. You know, the people who do not have the mental and emotional fortitude probably to look women in the eye when they talk to them. For these people that have very obvious difficulties when it comes to communicating with their fellow man. It's kind of like them putting their hand in the Gum test in Dune. Like, it is a very difficult thing for them. And that is how much they cared about this game, cared about this product, cared about what it was they were purchasing, and cared about Shift Up and what they believed in when they were getting this product to get over, even temporarily get over their emotional and their emotional and social anxieties to get this message out here. And for what? For Kotaku to go back on every single inclusive thing they've ever preached about in terms of ableism, to fucking roast these guys? Poor form, Kotaku. Absolute poor form. But hey, what are you gonna do? Like I said in one of my previous videos, asking for any sort of intellectual or philosophical consistency from Kotaku will be asking for, like, Santa to come in July. It's just not gonna happen. Mainly because Santa's not real. But even if Santa was real, he don't come in July. You're asking for two impossible things. That's what you're asking from Kotaku here when you want some sort of philosophical or intellectual consistency. It's kind of amazing. They want to spin this entire narrative, try and pretend this is about Eve's outfits, trying to pretend it's about the 17 censored outfits. I don't even think it's 17, by the way. I believe it's a smaller number than that, but hey, I could be wrong. I don't have the game. I haven't played the game because I don't have a PS5. I'm a PC gamer, you know, like an adult. But what can I say? The fact of the matter is, Kotaku doing what Kotaku does best. Shame the gamers, shame the fans, shame the paying customers. Because they spent the last 4 to 6 months trying to shame the game, and then the game sold exceedingly well. And then the game turned out to actually be good, despite all their criticisms of, you know, the sexual gratification that came from the game. And they know they can't attack the game any further because the game itself is actually good. They will make enemies of everybody, even the people traditionally on their side, if they attack the game. So now it's time to move up to mark number 2. Mark number 2 is to DEFCON 2. It is to destroy the gamers and destroy the paying customers, since the game itself is now off the table. Well, those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I bring you nerdy news every day. Not always about Stellar Blade, Gamergate 2, that whole situation, but that is the biggest thing in the news right now. So, I mean, it's definitely worth talking about. So hit that subscribe button. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the videos that I react to on my live streams, choose articles for me to cover on the day-to-day basis when I do these videos, and of course, just get in on the conversation. Free thoughts, free ideas. I love hearing different people's opinions, and so do all the other vital idols in the chat. We are over 70 members strong at this point, and you can add to it, you can contribute to it. It is a great growing community, so by all means, become a member, and remember, it's all here in the Nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.